ধন্যবাদ মোহাম্মদ আরিফুল হক সোহান। আমরা কথা শুনবো এখন ডক্টর ডেভিড ডাউল্যান্ডের ব্র্যাক ইউনিভার্সিটি রেজিস্ট্রার। Good afternoon, Dr. David Dowland. Would you like to compare Bangladesh education system with the international education system? And you can also tell if you have any suggestions in this regard.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. I have a whole program just on this question, actually, of comparisons. Perhaps if I limit myself just to 3 or 4 points, I'm going to talk particularly about comparisons with the UK higher education system. And one of the most obvious comparisons to make is how much longer it takes for Bangladeshi graduates often to graduate compared to students from the UK. Typically, most British graduates who are doing full-time programs of study would graduate within 3 years. Some even graduate within 2 years, although that's quite unusual. There are some people taking 4 years. One of the things I think I would want to say is that there is something for everyone to learn from each other, and this is part of the importance of international interchange. So I think Bangladesh has things to teach, just as other countries also have something to contribute as well. Another obvious thing that I notice in Bangladeshi higher education is the relative influence of parents and guardians compared to those in the UK, where essentially the contract is directly with the students. That's an obvious comparison as well. The British higher education system has had a lot longer to become established. So there are quality assurance systems, well-established systems for the development of for professional development in teaching and learning, strong research infrastructure, and so on. I think that there are in some ways certain mistakes potentially that are being made in the UK that I hope Bangladesh does not follow. And in particular, there's a tendency in public policy at the moment in the UK to think of the value of higher education as focusing mostly on the graduate salaries and the starting salaries even of graduates. And I think it's important that we don't lose sight of the wider value of higher education. Higher education has a multi-dimensional richness that is really important. I hope that Bangladesh always recognizes that. By the way, I think I'd just like to say one other thing that I noticed coming from the UK to Bangladesh. I've now been in Bangladesh for several years. It seems to me it's important there is some element of competition in higher education, and that is what the private universities have brought. There is a mixed economy there. But I think also there are some well-developed systems for collaboration in the UK higher education system, and it's really important that universities across Bangladesh learn to collaborate with each other, not just to compete, because none of us can do it alone. We all have to work together to develop a really good, high-quality higher education sector for this country. So it means all of us working together. And I think it's frustrating, listening also to some of my colleagues speaking this afternoon, there is a missed opportunity because there seems to be a sense of an opposition between public universities and private universities in Bangladesh, which is surely counterproductive and against the national interest. Private universities that show themselves to be good, more freedom to promote program development. The issue of PhDs has been mentioned. They need a certain amount of autonomy to expand and develop. And the tendency to think of private universities as in some way being subject to some kind of old-fashioned suspicion is surely counterproductive in that sense. So I think that's something to learn from other countries' models, themes of collaboration between different types of institution in a really diverse market of higher education institutions.
Thank you, Dr.